Good evening, everyone. This week's Parsha is Parshas Korach, Tavshin Pei Vav 5786. All right, so let us begin from the beginning of the Parsha, which is Perek Zayin, Pasuk Aleph, chapter 16, verse 1, page 820, if you have the art scroll. Oh, okay. Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kas ben Levi. Korach, the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kas, son of Levi, took. V'dasan of Aviram b'nei Eliav, and Dasan and Aviram, the sons of Eliav, On ben Pelas, and a man named On, the son of Pelas, b'nei Reuven, the sons of Reuven. So, what the word Korach took means exactly, Rashi talks about. But as we know, this parsha deals with Korach's rebellion against the authority of Moshe. He challenged Moshe as a true prophet, therefore challenging his authority of his appointments. And as Rashi tells us, Korach was jealous. His jealousy started when he was not appointed to be the head of the family that he was part of, the tribe of Levi, and which also, led him, or always bothered him, but made it flare up, his disappointment, his jealousy or his jealousy of Aaron, Moshe's brother, being the Kohen Gadol. And together with the men mentioned this week's Parsha, they arose against Moshe, they challenged him. And if you take a look on, let's read a little bit further. Pasuk Beis, verse 2. Vayakumu lifnei Moshe, v'nashim b'nei Yisrael chamishim v'masayim. And they arose before Moshe together with people from the sons of Israel, 250 of them. Nesiei Eda, princes of the assembly, Kriyei Moyed, called for meetings, Anshe Shem, men of renown. So the whole group here, this original group, or this group of Korach, Korach, as we know from many sources, was no small fry himself. He was actually a very great person in his own right. And he had, now Dasan and Aviram, they're actually infamous characters. They show up usually where there's trouble in the Torah. And then there's a man named On ben Pelas, and together with these 250 men, they arise against Moshe. Pasuk Gimel, verse 3. Vayekohalu al Moshe al Aaron, they assembled against Moshe and Aaron. Vayemru aleihem, and they said to them, Rav lachem, this is too much for you. Ki chol oedo kulam kadoshim, the entire assembly are all holy. V'besorchem Hashem, and God is in their midst. Madua tisnasu al kal Hashem, why have you elevated yourselves over the Jewish people? Okay, so the way Rashi explains their claim, or their complaint, Rashi says, Im lakachta ato malchus, if you took the kingdom and the leadership, the monarchy, you should have chosen for your brother to be the Kohen Gadol and his family. Apparently it should have been someone else, and that someone else, Korach was not outwardly saying that, but he meant it for himself. But in his battle cry was, Kikala Edo Kulam Kadeshim, everybody's holy. Everybody's deserving. Why are you taking everything for yourself and your family? Okay. Now, when we read the first pasuk introduces us by name to 4 people: Korach, Dasan and Aviram, and On ben Pelas. Dasan and Aviram and On ben Pelas were all from the tribe of Reuven. And as Rashi says, the tribe of Reuven were neighbors with the tribe of Levi, or Korach's family, the tribe of Levi. And as Rashi applies a famous principle, not good to have bad neighbors. And therefore, this is what got these descendants of Reuven to join in Korach's rebellion. But what I want to focus on is the fact that this last person mentioned, On ben Pelas, if he's mentioned by name, he's clearly one of the main leaders here. But after this, you're not going to see his name anymore. Doesn't appear. There's Korach, the Dasan Aviram, there's the 250 men, but there's no mention of On ben Pelas. And the Gemara tells us, Gemara in Sanhedrin, Kuf Tesam and Beis, 109b, tells us, On ben Pelas ishtra hitzilata. This man, On ben Pelas, you know who saved him? His wife. His wife got him out of this. Omrale, she said to him, My nafkalach mina, what is the difference to you here? Meaning, what are you going to gain? Ima Rabba, if Mar will be the Rabba, the leader, an Talmida, you're going to be the student. V'ima Rabba, an Talmida. And if the other one is going to be the master or the leader, you're going to be the student. Meaning, she basically was saying to him, or as it seems, what are you getting involved in here for? What are you going to have from this? Right? It's either going to be one or the other. One is going to be the leader, it's going to be one or the other, and you're just going to go ahead and be the student. So what are you getting involved for? What's your involvement here? Now, it's very interesting to focus on what she said. Number one, when she says Ima Rabba, if Mar will be Rabba, Rabba means the leader. Who's she referring to? If Mar will be the leader, you're the student. And if Mar is the leader, you're the student. Who are these people she's referring to that she says, if he's the leader, you're the student. If he's the leader, you're the student? Who's she referring to? Who's she talking about?
One be Moshe, one be Korach.
That's what it would sound like, right?
Why?
What do you mean? What do you want to say?
Why would we think she's being specific? Why not she just saying, you're not the one?
Yeah, but who's Mar?
Does it matter?
Sure, because what's she saying? What is she saying? She's saying if he's going to be the leader, who's she referring to?
She's saying you're not going to be the leader in any case, no matter who the leader will be.
Well, but who are these leaders she's referring to? Whose leadership? What leadership? Which leadership?
It matters.
Yeah. What does she mean? Is she just saying?
Okay, we disagree. I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Korach did not say, I want to be leader.
Oh.
He say, we are all leaders.
Oh, okay. So Arkadi's point is that Korach's claim was, we should maybe all be leaders. Now Rashi doesn't say that, actually. Rashi doesn't say that. But there's a point to what you're saying. If you just read the words, everybody's holy, it sounds like no leader. And many commentaries learned that Korach's battle cry was, no leaders. We can all do it ourselves. Rashi says that the point was, everybody's holy, so why did you take all these positions for you and your family? Other people could have gotten it too. Okay? But it is interesting that, so I thought at one point, well, maybe when she means if this one is the master, or that one's the master, she means, well, if Aaron's the Kohen Gadol, or somebody else is the Kohen Gadol, you're not going to be the Kohen Gadol. You're not going to be the Kohen Gadol. You're not a Kohen. Okay? The only thing is that, if we're talking about who's the Kohen Gadol, why would she call her husband, you'll be the student? She's not going to be the student of the Kohen Gadol. You wouldn't call, if the question is who's the Kohen Gadol, she would say, oh, and you're going to be the student? What is she just like talking in a parable, in a figurative way? I mean, it has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with him. He's not a Kohen. It has nothing to do with him. Okay, so therefore, if the question I'm asking is a valid question, then actually it goes back to that Rabbah sounds like the leader, right? And okay, if he's going to be the leader, you're going to be the student. If he's going to be the leader, you're going to be the student. You won't be the leader. Who's talking about leaders here? Who's talking about leaders here? We're talking about who's the Kohen Gadol. Is anybody here trying to take over from Moshe? Anybody trying to say, Moshe, you shouldn't be here? I want to be it? Doesn't seem like that. And also, and also, I don't know if I'll have an answer to this question, thinking about it, but I'm just thinking now, and also, well, if I was Owen say, I know I'm not going to be the leader, but there's a principle here, right? There's a principle here, isn't there? The only thing is that, as we know, the other 250 men who were told to bring the Ketores, right? At the end of the day, Moshe says, only one person is going to survive. Only one. And they knew that, right? But again, that doesn't sound like what her claim is. She's not saying, what are you, crazy? Taking a chance? She's saying this idea, if he's a leader. Okay. So I want to share with you an answer from the Parsha class of Rabbi Yisrael Reisman in Brooklyn, New York. And he said this over from Rabbi Yosef Savitsky, who was one of the rabbis in Yeshiva Torah Vodaas in Brooklyn. He asked these questions. And he said like this. And he also had another question, one last question. That there is a verse in Mishlei, the book of Proverbs. Chachmais Nashem Ban Sabesa. The wisdom of women builds her house. And the Medrash says, I don't know if the Gemara brings it down or the different source brings it down, but says that who is the book of Proverbs referring to when it says the wisdom of women built the house? The wife of On ben Pelas, because of this argument she made. So Savitsky asked, would you call that chachma? Would you call that wisdom? I mean, she's just being very rational. It's a good calculation, you know? You're not necessarily wise because you just go ahead and make a rational calculation. You know, she's telling your husband, you know, you're a little bit caught up here, kind of a little, you know, your mind's a little bit, you know, little scrambled here. And I'm letting you know that, you know, rationally speaking, this doesn't make sense.
Sometimes rational calculation is wisdom also.
Sometimes, if it's Russian. But he asks that this wouldn't necessarily be called chachma, wisdom. It's not the biggest wisdom. She has her head on straight, but it's not necessarily wisdom. That was his question. So let me tell you what he answers here. He wanted to answer like this, that her wisdom is that at the end of the day, Korach comes and he says, everybody's holy, right? When he says that, is he talking about himself?
No.
Is he trying to say everybody is holy? Like Rashi says, why did you take it and not give it to others? Is that me? I mean, deep down it is him, and maybe deep down he knows the next in line would be him, but his claim is everybody's holy. Everybody has the rights. And very clearly from the way Rashi cites, from the Midrashim, that Korach was real. Now again, the whole claim that he's saying against Moshe. Why did you take all the positions? Moshe took the positions. Hashem told him to give the positions out. But what Korach was doing, as we find in other sources, he was challenging Moshe as the prophet, as an authentic prophet. Yes, Moshe went up on Mount Sinai. Everybody saw God spoke to him. Everybody saw Hashem gave him the Torah. But the rest of the Torah and everything else, only Moshe Rabbeinu knows. And he was challenging Moshe Rabbeinu as being, he's not telling the truth. He's not telling everything that he got. He's adding to it. He's making up his own things. He was clearly challenging Moshe's authority as a prophet. So he's got a whole system here. He's got a whole philosophy here. He's got everything to make his claims. And you know what On ben Pelas said to her husband? You know what On's wife said to him? Do you know what Korach really wants? After all said and done, he wants leadership. This is not about everybody's right and everybody should have a chance. It's about him. It's not just about him for Kohen Gadol. It's about him taking over. Because a lot of times, right, you have people making claims and slogans and arguments about, yeah, everybody's the same and everybody should have the right and everybody should have this and everybody should have that. And at the end of the day, what's it really about? Right. Right? As what's the book, 1984, right? Some of us are more equal than others, right? Animal Farm, thank you. Not 1984, same author, but Animal Farm. Yeah. Okay, would you want to say something?
Yeah, so I think it's just interesting as a parallel in ancient Greece. The reason, we think of Greece as like, oh, democracy comes from there. Well, the person who invented democracy, or was the person who brought forward Demosthenes, he did it because he consolidated the people for his own political power as an elite, instead of like, it was either that or you lose out to another elite. So yeah, it was like for the people, but it was also an elite. So I think it's very similar.
It happens. It happens throughout history. Happens throughout history. So that was her chachma. That was her wisdom. She saw deeper into things than everybody else. It wasn't just a rational calculation. It was something that you wouldn't see on the outside, but she was smart enough to see deeper in and see what's really going on. So she said to him, at the end of the day, either he's the leader or he's the leader and you're the Talmud, which means to say, it's not just about you'll always be a follower. The point is that Korach's idea here is to lead. It's not about giving you more chances. It's about him. And it's about him not just being Kohen Gadol, being the leader. And as we've seen, there are just so many different. This is really something that you see on a on a macro level and a micro level, in the sense that, you find big movements that make claims about things and make arguments and philosophies that are really philosophies and arguments to get the result that you want. Right? A philosophy is supposed to be you try to figure out the truth, and from that makes results. But unfortunately, there are times, and it's a very common thing, whether again on a larger scale or on a personal scale, where because of the result that you want, you now create a philosophy around it. This was what Korach was doing. This is what we find in many different aspects of, history, history and contemporary society, about creating philosophies based on a result that you want, right? Such as, the definition of colonialism, right? Israel is a colonial is a colonial entity, and as many people have said, the old definition of colonial doesn't fit Israel one bit. But since now, people want to use it for a certain purpose, it's redefined. But then people do it for themselves also. So many times people justify what they want for their own purposes. They want something, it may not be right, but they want it. So how do you give yourself the ability to take it? You justify it. You make a philosophy out of it. You find some kind of justification for it. Like I say, it happens on a bigger level, on a smaller level.
But it's not clear. What is actually wisdom? She predict Korach.
Not predict. She understood.
No, understood Korach that did not succeed.
No, she's saying to her husband, Korach is just doing this for him to become the leader.
No, but if he became leader, you will be nothing.
Right? You're not going to get anything anyway.
He did not mean he did not succeed.
No, she didn't know that yet.
But
She didn't know that. She was just saying that there's no purpose for you being involved in this. Because even if Korach gets his way, what are you going to be? You're going to be a student. You're not going to. Her real point was to say Korach's in it for himself here. Korach's in it to become leader. It's not just about trying to give everybody a chance. He wants to be leader, and therefore, what are you going to be left with at the end? Nothing much. You're not going to get this idea of everybody has a chance. Okay. All right. That's the first thing I want to share with you. The next I'm going to share with you actually comes from, let's take a look now, Pasuk Hey, verse 5. This is chapter 16, verse 5. Vayidaber el Korach v'ladasa lemar, and he spoke to Korach and his assembly, saying, Boker, in the morning, V'yida Hashem asa shaloi, Hashem will make known that which is to him, that's HaKadosh and the Holy One, the Ikru Elav, he shall bring him close to him, and the one that he chooses, he will bring close to him. This is what you should do. Korach and the entire assembly, take for yourselves these fire pans, put in them fire, which means hot coals, and put kataris upon them tomorrow. Whoever Hashem chooses, he's the Holy One. Rav lechem b'nei Levi, it is too much for you, children of Levi. Okay, so very interesting. Moshe says, in the morning, Hashem will make known who's the chosen one. Not today, tomorrow. And then again, when he says what to do, he says, put fire on and be before Hashem tomorrow. Right? He already just said in the morning. But now he repeats again, machar, tomorrow. And then later on, again, when Moshe repeats to Korach and his assembly what to do, which is in Pasuk Tes Zayin, verse 16, the Pasuk reads, Vayemer Moshe el Korach, Moshe said to Korach, Ata v'chaladascha, you and your entire assembly, Hayu lifnei Hashem, be before God. Ata v'hem, you and they, v'Aaron and Aaron, machar, tomorrow. How many times does Moshe have to say machar? How many times does he have to say it? Now, maybe he'll say he said it again. It was a little break, but he told them already before. He said morning. He said tomorrow. How many times does he have to keep repeating it?
Twice.
What?
Twice. 3 times.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, we need 3 times more.
I don't know. You
Oh,
tell me.
I
thought
I
you
wasn't
said-
asking how many. No, I wasn't. I meant in a rhetorical sense. How many times does he have to keep saying this? Keep saying this?
Just to remind.
Just to remind. All within the same. All within the same.
Warning?
What?
Is it a warning?
I mean, but you have to keep saying. The warning is
Yeah,
there.
but-
The
right.
warning is very much there. But why? And he said in the morning.
Yeah.
Why do you have to
It's
say again
giving
tomorrow?
It's giving them a chance, like saying it. Hey, it's basically repeating it. I think serves as a possible like trying to dissuade them from doing it.
But
giving
why
them
the
time,
Bachar part?
Giving
What
them
do
time.
what does that mean?
Not
So sometimes when you're angry in a moment, if you step away and take the time to be able to think about it, usually you have a more measured response. So
Good.
it's giving them the time to be able to step away.
This was the idea that I was just about to say.
Sorry.
No problem. Very good. Again, Saul Reisman suggests that the explanation here is now. There's another place where we find that the Jewish people are told tomorrow, and that is by the sin of the golden calf. By the sin of the golden calf, the Jewish people come to Aaron, say, we need replacement for Moshe, and they make the egel, and they make the calf, and what does Aaron say? Machag l'Hashem machar. A celebration tomorrow. Tomorrow. That's what he said.
this is another reason.
Excuse me?
But this is he makes completely different reason why tomorrow.
What do you mean?
He is waiting in motion.
Okay. That would definitely be a good answer. Very good. That'd be a good answer. There, that's very good.
Why 3 times?
That's there was only once. He's talking about there. He's not talking about here.
In this case, why 3 times?
That's the question. Well, I'm not going to have a good answer for 3. Not necessarily. We'll see if it works. We'll see if Jake's answer works for that. But at the end of the day, you're answering for the egel that there, they say he said tomorrow because he was hoping Moshe Rabbeinu would come down in time. That is very true. Okay, good point. Now, so he wanted to suggest like this, that what Moshe was trying to do here by, and possibly we could say that's why he repeated Machar so many times, is what he really wanted to do is he wanted them to sleep on it. Right now they're all worked up, and what he really wanted them to do is tomorrow, which means let's see what happens. He didn't say let's see what happens tomorrow. He said, well, you're doing it tomorrow. I mean, theoretically, they could have done this today also, but it was Machar. It was tomorrow because the idea was basically, you go to sleep, you clear your mind. It's a new day. You rethink things, and hopefully things have gotten clear. So so it could be that his repetition of Machar tomorrow was really trying to hint to them, right, that you should sleep on this. This is going to happen tomorrow. Give yourself a chance for your emotions to calm down. Give yourself a chance for your minds to clear before you do this.
Okay. This is as Russians say proverb. Just morning is wiser than evening.
Okay, that definitely fits. That definitely fits. Excuse me.
Why 3 times?
So I don't have an answer for 3 as much as trying to say that he did it a couple of times, but he did it more than once because he's trying to hint to them tomorrow. Give yourself a chance to wait till the next day. Give yourself a chance to sleep on it. Calm down. So his repetition of it was really trying to impress upon them this idea, at least in an indirect way. That's what I'm saying here.
I would think that, I don't have an answer for repetition. I would think he's saying tomorrow because maybe not everybody is there. Maybe he doesn't have the full crowd of, quote, rebels, whatever that means.
Oh, everybody was there.
Everybody. But tomorrow, you're setting it up. You have an appointment, everybody.
Well, you want.
Then they'll all come.
Whoa! Who's all? Who do you want more to come? The rebels are here. They're all here.
They're all here?
Yeah, they're all here. It was 250 men plus Korach, and that's a nice amount of people.
Says my God, they're all here then.
All the rebels.
We know that.
That would be the simple, and I think that would be the straightforward understanding of things.
Okay.
The problem with next day was that Korach got everybody else to come in and to watch and to join in. At this point, the Jewish people as a whole aren't into this as much as what seems to come out later. And so he was telling them to calm down. All right. So if we continue that, so I'd like to add that we actually find in the Medrash that Korach when Moshe said, okay, tomorrow morning we're going to do this. So what do you think Korach did the whole night? Medrash says the whole night he was up. The whole night he was up and he was trying to get everybody into the frenzy. He was trying to get everybody into it. The whole night he spent making fun, putting down Moshe, putting down mitzvahs because, again, it's all from Moshe, He was up a whole night, making latzanas, mocking everything about Moshe. Now, and it could be that according to this, you know why he stayed up a whole night? Because he didn't want them to sleep on it. And he didn't want them to calm down. He wanted to keep them going. He wanted to keep them into it. Okay. And at the end of the day, didn't help. Unfortunately, didn't help because they were where they were the next day, and that was it. But the idea is a well understood idea that that there are times where we do ourselves a favor if we don't react right away and give ourselves a chance to calm down, sleep on it, refresh ourselves, give ourselves a chance to get a clear mind of things. There is an interesting story that I will share with you, and that I've said the story here. I've said the story before, but I just think it really, really fits well into the point here. Now, this story is from a work called Sefer Hasidim. Sefer Hasidim comes from medieval times. It was from the times of the Rishonim, and Sefer Hasidim means it's a book about how pious people act, how pious people do things. And I'll read you an English, an English version of one of the stories there. It goes like this. Once there was a son who was extraordinarily respectful to his father. On his deathbed, the father said, "My son, you honored me in my lifetime, and now you must honor me after my death. I command you, if you should ever become overcome by anger, hold your anger in overnight." Okay? You get angry? Give yourself a chance to calm down. Wait till the next day, as we're saying. After his father's death, the son was forced to embark on a prolonged journey, which took him to distant lands for tens of years. We do know that there were times where people left their family to do things, even if it was to make a living, and they were away for years at a time. To travel long distances took a very long time, and they were away for years at a time. Unbeknownst to him, meaning the person who left on the trip, the wife he left behind was expecting his child. After his years of absence, the husband returned home unannounced, hoping to joyously surprise his wife. But as he approached his bedchamber, he saw his wife embracing a handsome young man, a stranger. The husband became fiercely jealous and reached for his dagger, when he suddenly remembered the pledge he made to his father. He must hold in his rage overnight. The next day, he was shocked to discover that the young man in his wife's embrace was none other than his own son, the child that his wife had born during his long absence. The man was thus saved from tragically slaughtering his own family. So this is a, added, thing. But the point is that it came from a solid piece of advice. The solid piece of advice was, if you get emotional, if you get angry, don't react right away. Give yourself a chance to calm down. There's actually something interesting found in Musar works about giving an example. Person studying Torah, and he gets this temptation to leave his studying Torah in order to do something else. And it's not something that he needs to do, but it's an interruption to go in and do something more pleasurable. So his Yetzer Hara is trying to tell him to, leave, stop learning and go do that. So a piece of advice that you find in certain Musar works is that you say to yourself, okay, I'll do it in 10 minutes. I'll do it in 10 minutes. Okay, I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. I'll do it in 10 minutes. To say I'll do it tomorrow, that may be too much. I'll do it in 10 minutes. And many times when that happens, it means that you were very emotionally involved, and you kind of gave it a little bit to calm things down psychologically, and then as time passes, you calm down. It's a similar type of idea. And this was according to this, the idea of machar, mentioning machar, tomorrow, was this idea. Didn't work, but as a piece of advice, it is a very true piece of advice.
Why? Moshe was first the psychology.
Okay.
But this is just very common.
Yeah.
If you can't,
Yes.
okay,
According to this, he was trying to use a very practical idea. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening.